We will be using reverse evaluation machines to actually solve these equations that we have. In the past, we'd been using them to create the expressions, but now we're moving to the next stage of actually figuring out what our output is for a given value of x or given value of input. So let's look at step 1 at the top table, and notice they give us an expression of 10x plus 2. So this is an example of what we're going to be doing. So we do what we did previously, where we say, well, what are we doing to our x, to our input? And in this case, we're multiplying the value by 10. That's step 1. Okay, the next thing that we're doing is we're adding 2 to the result of step 1. So here we have add 2 to the result of step 1. The output is this, y equals 10x plus 2. Now we're going to do the reverse expression. So we need to do everything opposite of what it was. So our last step becomes our first step. So instead of adding 2 to the result of step 1, we subtract 2 from the value of step 1. Now we do the opposite again. And the opposite of multiply is divide, so we divide the result of step 1 by 10. So when we do our expressions here, our original is the 10x plus 2. Now here they've given us what our output is, which is 32. So we have 10x plus 2 equals 32. Now we take that and we say, well, we need to subtract 2 from that value. So here we can see the subtraction of 2. And if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. So we're subtracting from our 10x plus 2. So we are also subtracting 2 from 32, the right-hand side of that equation. So our new result, because these go away, and 32 minus 2 is 30, so we have 10x equals 30. Now it says divide the result of step 1 by 10. So here we divide by 10. Well, 10 divided by 10 is 1, so we're just left with 1x. You can write it just as x equals 30 divided by 10 equals 3. So that's an example of what we're going to be doing, and again, we are actually solving these. So let's do the first step for the expression of negative 3x plus 7. So our first step, I see here, I'm multiplying my input by negative 3. So multiply value, or in this case, I'm going to say multiply x by negative 3. Step 2, so I've done that. The last thing I need to do is add 7 to the result of step, not step 2, step 1. Step 1. Okay, so now I need to reverse that. So again, my second step becomes my first step, and I need to do the opposite function. So the function here is add, so the opposite function is going to be subtract. So subtract, and what did I add here? I added 7, so subtract 7 from input. Okay, and then 2 is again what my first step is, only now it's the opposite, so I need to divide result of 1 by negative 3. Now I go over and I do my equation over here, and notice they've given us a value of 13. So they're saying, here's my expression, and it equals, the output is 13. So now we follow these steps. We say subtract 7 from the input, which is y in this case. So we have minus 3x plus 7. There's the subtract 7. And I need to do it to the other side. So that's my first step. My second step, I'm going to rewrite. I get minus 3x. 7 minus 7 is 0, so that goes away. And it equals 13 minus 7 is 6. And now I go to my second step, divide the result of 1 of step 1, which is this, by -3. So now I do divide by -3, divide by -3. That goes away and I get x equals -2. So that is my final answer. And what that's saying is if I put -2 into this equation, my output is going to be 13. So we've been doing tables. Hopefully I have space here. This is where we started, and we would be given an input value. So in this case, we have our input value, and we have solved for our output value, or we've been given our output value, so we know that y equals 13. So in terms of the tables that we've been doing in the past, that's what it would look like. So x equals -2.